M. Night Shyamalan has been having a bit of a resurgence in the past couple of years. Now, is this a film that continues the uprising, or is this where he falls from grace again? The film tells the story of a family that is vacationing in the middle of nowhere when 4 unlikely visitors begin to take them hostage. Now they must choose whether or not the apocalypse happens. I was really excited for this film because I am a big fan of M. Night Shyamalan for the longest time. Ever since I saw Lady in the Water, I was the biggest fan of his. I really enjoy a lot of his movies. I know some of them I enjoy a lot more than others. They're my guilty pleasures, but I've always had faith in M. Night Shyamalan that he is able to bring us back to the glory days when we absolutely loved his films. The film stars Jonathan Groff, Dave Bautista, Ben Aldridge, Nikki Amuka Bird, I do apologize if I butchered that name, Abby Quinn, Rupert Grint, and Kristen Stewart. I do apologize if I butchered any names there. They are our central characters in this film, and this film has a very interesting premise attached to it. You either save your family or you bring the apocalypse on, and everybody in the world except for your family dies. When it comes to that premise, that's something that I really enjoy because it gives you a little bit more of a thought-provoking premise about what would you do if you were in that situation. Would you choose your family, or would you let humanity live and everything goes back to normal like everything should be in normal? And when you have that premise presented to you, you start thinking about whether or not this is actually happening. And that is questions that happens throughout the entire film, whether it's actually happening or if it's just something that somebody came up with. Now, I thought I had this film figured out from the trailers because I figured that the trailers showed us a little bit too much, but I think they held back a lot from this film that I was pleasantly surprised by. And M. Night Shyamalan shows us that he is able to bring us back to his glory days when he has reigned in, because I thought this movie was absolutely fun. I thought there were a lot of great moments of tension, and that is where he succeeds for the better or worse. He is able to give you that sense of tension and suspense. You don't know what's going to happen. You don't know the choices that these characters are going to make. Sometimes they don't make the smartest decisions, or they make the smartest decisions later on. But there were a couple of moments in this movie where you really have a lot of free reign when it comes to these characters. Dave Bautista has shown us that he is able to step out of that Drax role and give us something layered when it comes to his characters, and that is what he does great in this movie. He is so quiet and subtle in this movie because he is the ringleader of this group, of these 4 people. And when it comes to everybody in this group, they all have some moments to shine, some more than others, but I think some of the dialogue in this movie kind of falters just a little bit. It feels like that Shyamalan writing where some of the dialogue feels like it's over exaggerated just a little bit, but it really does bring you in just a little bit because it really makes you think about the situation, about what would you choose if you had a family, or would you save humanity? Me personally, I could just say fuck humanity and save myself, because the world is already populated enough. We don't need more people. We're good. But it also has that conflicting thing of, okay, so if you have a only child, would you want them to live in a world where nobody is around except for you guys? That is where that conflicting thing happens. However, when it comes to that conflicting side, it shows that there are things that you question about it, because there are things that happen in this movie that kind of makes you ask the questions about what would happen. Now, I'm not somebody that has read the book, so I don't know what is in the book. I'm not sure how much it was really fully adapted, but when it comes to that general premise, it gives you a moment to think about it, but at the same time, it makes you ask more questions about what would happen if you chose this over that. So it has that kind of conflicting side. Most of the film was drawn in with the tension that you feel. There are a couple of moments in this movie where it's just shocking and things happen that I was not expecting them to happen. This movie, I think, has a very nice balance of nice little humor here and there peppered in. As soon as the opening credits roll and you start the film starts. It's knock at the cabin, go, and you just have free reign from beginning to end. That is something that I really enjoyed about this movie. But even though I enjoyed what they were going for and I really like the overall premise, it makes me ask more questions than it gives me answers, because there are questions that I have about this movie, about some of the choices here and there. But overall, I really had a fun time with this movie. There were some great moments of tension, which Shyamalan does very well, but I think he was able to bring some of that in here. Some of the dialogue was a little bit clunky here and there. The performances were great, but overall, I would say that I would recommend Knock at the Cabin, because even though I have more questions about the choices here and there, I think this movie does a really good job of building that tension and giving us a sense of dread and knowing what choices to make. And that is something that I really enjoyed about this movie. It kind of feels like a thought-provoking film, but there were just a couple of moments here and there where it just made me question it just a little bit. But those are my thoughts on Knock at the Cabin. It comes out this Friday. I know a lot of people have not checked it out, but are you interested in this film? Do you have any thoughts? If you check it out, come back and let me know your thoughts on this film. If you like this review, go ahead and click that like and subscribe button so you don't miss out on more. Click that bell notification so you get notified every single time that a video pops up. We'll catch you guys on the flip side.